Happy Turkey Day, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I uh I never as an adult I never really looked forward to Thanksgiving. Mostly because it was usually filled with people that had priorities about the food and the whole meal of Thanksgiving rather than the spirit. But I ran into that later too when I got kicked out of Christmas with my in-laws. So like, for Christmas I wanted like hugs and just to be around them, and they're like, "We want liquor and presents." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, I don't want to judge them, but they certainly judged me, which I thought was quite odd for Christmas. But anyways, so it's just Sherry and I and the dogs for Thanksgiving, and we'll probably just have a nice breakfast, and then I think we got Costco chicken, and then I think some sweet potatoes and some stuffing for dinner. That's it. And then the rest of the time I'll probably be working. And I think I told you in another video I like to clean during the holidays, like just like peace and quiet, maybe some music in the background, not like Christmas music, but just like some good music. And I like to clean, and I was going through my stuff, and I had forgotten that I got this book. So this is my little sister, and she died of an accidental overdose. And I had my father had died in was it '08? Yeah, in '08, and I had put together a video of just pictures from his life, basically a video version of this, and I posted it. My sister seemed to get a little obsessed with it, and I had trouble trying to relate to her. If you guys think I'm crazy, she was out there, and she had problems with substance abuse, and she was trying to have a big career, and of course those things don't really mix. And the night before she died, I think I don't remember if it was text or on the phone, but I just basically I called her like a gangrenous cunt, and was like, yeah, you shouldn't be here. And then she has an accidental overdose. So and I felt guilty for like a year, and then it was nothing I did. It was nothing. That was her and her life, and that pattern has been repeated in other facets of our family tree, or I should say other branches or whatever. Get your metaphor straight. So, but yeah, alcohol, pills, and marijuanas. And if that teaches you anything, don't do marijuanas even once, people. So yeah, you think the edibles are like put you on the moon? She used to smoke a lot. So in fact, she moved to Colorado so she could smoke more. So, but I'll share this with you. This is Summer, my mom. Summer is a weird baby. That's me. That's Grandma Huff. There's Paul and Len looking dapper. That's my older sister, Michelle. See, look at me. Handsome boy. Sensitive boy. So, and there's some. There's Tai Tai. That's Tyson, my little brother. Taking a big dump there. I remember Summer like this. When she was younger, she had appendicitis. But because she was so quiet and she didn't really stick out like the rest of us Chandlers, we thought she was lying. And turned out I don't think it ruptured, but she was definitely in pain. So there she is hanging out with my dad. And then there is some good pictures. There you go. I remember her like that. So she just quirky, tried to, there's old Buddy. Old Buddy was my father's father. And he used to beat the shit out of him. So it was always awkward. I didn't know until later, about the abuse on that. So, And see, and there's Viv. That's Vivian. She's super hot cousin. She died also of accidental overdose. Not quite sure of the details of that, but I mean, just stunning. And could have had, later Summer went through a awkward stage, and then she got pretty again. But yeah, just it in my experience, whenever I look back at a lot of the women in my life, women get twisted, especially when they're little, about being pretty and getting things for free. Do not treat your girls like that. I highly recommend against it. There's my Summer Sue and my Buzz bike. Oh, that piece of shit bike. It's so fucking heavy. Couldn't jump it worth a shit. So, and there's Grandma Huff trying to be a good grandma. Her and my mom used to get into it. So there you go. Look at that. Big Mormon family. Beautiful. Beautiful. Tyson with his weird hair. Now he just shaves his head. So, and that's Peebo, Michibo. He was Len's. I think she got knocked up at 16 by his dad. And then my dad still scooped her up. He's like, yeah, I can still deal with that. So, but Peebo and Paul did not get along. So, but it's tough to, take in a dog that's already been trained or already has a lifestyle, and then, you got your own. So my dad definitely favored us. And then my sister, we think, had fetal alcohol syndrome. And so she was not fun to get along with. And so guess who shined the light on? Yeah, sensitive boy, this guy. So I got most of the attention of my dad, but that's not always a great thing. So it was, he could be quite critical, I should say. So Summer had teeth problems. She was left-handed. That was the summer that she, for fucking 8 months, she wouldn't take that thing off. She had bad eyes. Cute as a button, as you can see. So there you go. See, and then she had to get really thick glasses, and the rest of us were normal. We used to give her a hard time. So, I mean, we loved her. So, but she tried. There you go. That's the awkward stage where it was funny. Her boyfriend at the time, he's later in the book. My mom had a portrait of her done at that time, and his name was Scott. Scott walked down the hall and he goes, "Hey, who's that little boy?" And Summer hit him, and she's like, "That's me, motherfucker." And yeah, she was, I don't know. You know how sometimes girls get a short haircut and then they wonder why nobody likes them anymore. And that's my little sister, Christy, who turned out to be a cunt. And, like her mom and whatever. I don't know if it's just the women or whatever, but that's what happens when you spoil a kid. They just turn out rotten. That was high school. That was fun. Everybody loved Summer. Summer used to fucking party hard, man. I had no idea. She was super secret about everything. She ended up having a kegger, and then her friends, or I think she did. She kicked my fucking door in, and her friends stole my fucking rad tapes and all that kind of shit. And she's like, "Oh no, we thought there was a fire." She fucking liar all the time. That's whose wedding is that? That's Peebo's wedding, I think. Tyson looks good though, kind of goofy. Summer looks great. This is terrible. I don't know what the fuck was going on with this hair. Looks weird. So there's Scotty. Talk about a really dysfunctional alcoholic relationship. But that was the prime of her high school, and she was the hottest he could get, and he could buy beer. So there's my stepmom and her new husband, Vinny, really good guy. This one not so much. So, but and then Summer had the lots of jobs years where she would partner up with a roommate, and then I think mostly they just partied. So that's a better picture of my dad later on. She was like a stewardess, and I don't know. She did a bunch of jobs. I didn't really talk to her, so she was off doing her own thing. Summer and I, yeah, that's the bad hair day. Summer and I didn't really talk because we didn't relate. She would drink and smoke. She smoked cigarettes, and then she smoked lots of weed, and she would like pick up strangers and smoke weed with them, which I guess is a thing. I'm not smoking weed. I'm not, like, not that I was like Mr. Straight from, being a Mormon, but I was like, these Mormons got some good ideas. Like, this is a really good idea not to do all these drugs and shit like this. And my sister Summer was like, nope, let's do that. And then she would just get dressed and go to church when it mattered. See, there you go. Stunning sister. That was Christy. She don't look like that anymore. And she ended up cheating on her husband and having that other dude's baby. Like, what the fuck? So, there's Tai Tai, who looks like me. He's weird. He looks like me from 4 years ago, always, because he is 4 years younger than me. And that's Holly. That was Vinny and Robin's treasure, who they treasured her. And then where's Christy go? And then we're like, fuck you, bitch. And well, because she turned out to kind of be a cunt, and also she. My dad really favored her, like big time. Like he was not embarrassed about favoring her. But there's Pablo, my dad, and there you go, big jugs. He's got them Chandler jugs. He looks like it was funny when he died. One of his girlfriend's daughter, she was like really emotional, and she was telling everyone that she goes, he reminded me of a cat daddy. And I was like, what the fuck is a cat daddy? And well, I think it's like a whiskey, like if a Cheshire cat sold whiskey, that would be my dad, which is kind of like a part-time pimp, part-time gangster, which was actually more true than I like to admit. Me and Sherry kind of chubby. There's Summer with her awkward glasses on, and then the Peebo, Michibo. And then Summer had lots of boyfriends, lots and lots and lots of boyfriends and adventures. Yeah, certainly had suitors aplenty, as my mom put it. And then this was Michelle's first wedding, which she looked fantastic, but she blew that fucking wedding up, and then she swindled some other guy and blew up his family, and she's a nightmare. I think that guy was actually gay. But Summer was like trying to convert him. Like some girls get into that where they try to save a guy, like a bad boy, and they try to turn him. So, but I think he was gay, and she tried to, I don't know, didn't work out. That's my new dad. That is Bob Howard, which was like, he's the only guy that ever was able to sort of, I don't want to say wrangle, but like taming of the shrew. And my mom was very picky. Talk about suitors aplenty. Oh my God, I lost track after 26. I was like, I'm not keeping track anymore. This is ridiculous. I tell you what, though, when I was a little kid, though, a lot of rich guys bought me some really dangerous shit. I remember one time my mom was dating a dentist, and there's the payoff, right? You got to pay these kids off so that they'll leave you the fuck alone. And dude, he bought us a fucking real dartboard set. Oh yeah. And about an hour into that, we were playing this game where you'd have to run across the room, and you could only throw straight, and you had to come as close as it was like playing quarters, where you got to get close to the wall. And so you had to get as close as you could to the person running across the room without hitting them. Of course, it's a fucking dangerous game. And then my brother decided to play that with his friends alone. And the kid down the street, John Henry, ended up getting one in the neck. So not a great thing for kids, especially highly unsupervised kids. That's Mitch's wife and kids. Beautiful family, beautiful Mormons that live out in the country. That was a little girl that Summer had befriended. I think it's her friends. I don't remember. That up in Colorado. And then that is Basil, I think. Yep. Basil, and he died, and that was Summer's good doggy friends. And then there was just Reggie and Gracie left. and we didn't get Gracie. We had her, and then fucking hillbillies ran over her. That fucking sucked. And so that's Tai Tai.
Watching her.
Yeah, that's Tai Tai. That's what he looks like now. He basically looks like if homeless people were fashionitas. So, and then these are some pictures I took of Summer in high school when I was taking a photography class. And then there's me and Sum. And then there's Summer. Cool Summer at the end. That's it. Is that it? I think that's it. So, and you can get these made for any reason. You don't have to wait till somebody dies to get these made for creative memories. So, and then my mom got a little wordy on the back of it. So, but I don't need this because I lived all the pictures. Those are in my memory. And so I'm going to send this to her friend Lisa that she was a stewardess with. And they, of course, they're just drinking and smoking buddies, basically. But Lisa really, really misses her and still cries to this day when she thinks about Summer. And that was the weird thing when I went to Summer's funeral. It was closed casket because they didn't find her for like 2 days. And nobody said a bad word about her. But she was a super cunt. And she was super... God, she was just so angry and bitter and resentful and just mean, like really mean. Mostly to me, I guess. Not, but a girl like that, whenever she doesn't get her way or the relationship turns a direction that she's not prepared for, she basically ends it. And my sister's not special in that matter. And I learned a lot about women, and I learned a lot about the way people remember you at your funeral. So, but yeah, nobody said anything bad about her, even though I'm like sitting on that rotten egg of like I told her that she was a gangrenous cunt, and then she kills herself or whatever. She accidentally dies or accidentally overdoses like I think a day later, and I was like pissed off at her, like because she proved me right. And but I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything at the funeral. I didn't say anything at the memorial kegger that we had later. And I don't know. It was just a weird sort of out of body experience that I had about the way that people want to remember you. So and that's another reason why I do these videos. I love you guys as human beings, and I want to share my life with you to show that again. Things don't have to be the way that your family dictates them, and you can be the person you want to be, but you may have to do that in secret. I think that's what I'm really saying about all this. But I also want to document my life. I try to live every day as if I'm going to die, and you could be watching this and die 10 minutes later. You don't know that. So, if anything, I want to document my life, and for you guys to get the idea of some of the thoughts and sort of what they used to say in some of my seminars that I would attend is like the golden thread that winds through your life, like everything's linked by the events. Summer died, and then that led to this, and that led to that. Everybody's linked together with the links, the events in their life. But what is the golden thread that goes through all of that? That sort of is like the still small voice, the Holy Spirit of things that keep you on the path, that you're on the path. So I don't know. It was a bunch of stuff, and it's just an interesting theory. But that's Summer Sue, and I think for the first, was it like 5 years? I would go with Len and we do this sort of ritual where we'd hang out at Summer's grave. So my mom had a plot over there in Mesa Cemetery on Country Club, and she gave it up to Summer. She didn't really need it anymore. She got a man now, and she wants to be turned into like a tree seed, which is kind of gross. When you look at they put you in a weird bag, and then they just sprinkle a lot of tree seed around you, and then they stick you in the ground. I was like, okay, it's good for you, Len. Like, that's your life. So, but anyways, so she had a plot and she gave it to Summer. And then when Gracie died, or Gracie got killed, I didn't know what to do with the body. So I just went over to the cemetery and dug up part of Summer's plot and then buried the dog there. So I was like, that's a good place for the dog. I don't know. Does any of that stuff mean anything? No. No, it doesn't. And it doesn't, I don't let it shape my life, but I think it's interesting. You look back, and what I want you to do is, because I do this, I try to do this every day, where I just look back on my life and I go, what was the purpose of that? What is the takeaway from that? What did I learn from that? What is the wisdom I can gain from those events and the way that I handled them? And you try to do it better, and you try to fold it in and make life more akin to what your ideal is. So, but I love you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving as best you can. Because I know, I'm so glad I don't do those events anymore. They're just terrible, and everybody's drunk, and then people focus on football, and then, you know, the big media corporations are there to harvest your attention with Tostitos ads. Like, what the fuck? Tostitos Fiesta Bowls coming up. I'm like, good Lord, shut the fuck up. So, but, you know, you may not, your sentiment of being a kind and loving person may not be welcome at Thanksgiving. You may just be encouraged to grab a beer and socialize and talk about superficial garbage that, you know, you realize everybody else is retarded and can't talk about some of the audio things that you want to talk about. That's definitely a weird thing when I would go to any event like that. Like, I can't talk about work. They're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, I would just, you know, I would undercut myself by saying I'm a helper guy. So I would just like, I'm a helper guy. I help people. And then they think that I'm retarded, and I'm like, that's fine. And then I would go sit at the kids' table. Now, there's some conversations to have. Oh my God. Those guys talk about all kinds of inappropriate shit. And you know, and I get to be the adult, which was fantastic. So I recommend that. But I want to do a couple more of these videos today to kind of knock them out of the way. I know you guys like looking at them, and so I found this magazine that has like these really esoteric speakers. This kind of culture doesn't really exist anymore, and so I'll show you this this magazine here in a little bit. But I love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Talk to you later.